My mother-in-law swapped my baby with a dead child in the hospital. Amaka felt a flood of relief as the baby's cries filled the hospital room. Sweat glistened on her forehead, her chest rising and falling in exhaustion, but her heart swelled with love. She had waited 9 long months for this moment, and now, she held her baby boy in her arms. His tiny fingers curled around hers, his soft skin warm against her palm. He's perfect, she whispered, tears pooling in her eyes. The nurse smiled as she adjusted the sheets around Amaka. Congratulations, madam. You have a strong, healthy baby boy. Amaka turned to her husband, Emeka, who stood frozen at the bedside, staring at their child with an unreadable expression. He seemed overwhelmed, his lips parting as if to say something, but no words came out. Finally, he cleared his throat and touched the baby's head gently. He's beautiful, Emeka murmured. Just like you. Amaka's lips trembled with emotion. She had feared this day for so long, worried about complications, worried about being a mother. But now, holding her baby in her arms, she felt nothing but love. Madame Agatha, her mother-in-law, entered the room then, her eyes sharp as they landed on the newborn. A tight smile stretched across her face. Thank God for a safe delivery, she said, though her tone lacked warmth. Amaka nodded, too tired to analyze the woman's reaction. The exhaustion weighed heavily on her. She tried to keep her eyes open, but sleep clawed at her mind. I think I need to rest, she murmured, looking up at Emeka. Of course, he said, brushing her forehead with a soft kiss. Rest, my love. I'll stay with the baby. With that assurance, Amaka allowed her heavy eyelids to shut, surrendering to sleep. She didn't know how long she had been asleep when she awoke to the sound of hushed voices. Her body felt weak, her limbs leaden as she struggled to focus. The room was dim, and she felt a strange heaviness. The dreams started 2 weeks after Amaka was discharged from the hospital. Every night, she would find herself in a dark, unfamiliar room, the air heavy with sorrow. And then, she would hear it, a baby's cry, soft at first, then growing louder, more desperate. Mama! Mama! Each time, she jolted awake, drenched in sweat, her heart racing. The cries felt so real, so painful, as if her child were calling out to her from beyond the grave. One night, after yet another dream, she sat up in bed, gasping for air. Emeka stirred beside her. Are you okay? He mumbled sleepily. Amaka hesitated before shaking her head. I keep dreaming about the baby. Silence stretched between them before Emeka let out a tired sigh. Amaka, please, you need to let go. I can't, she whispered. Something isn't right. Emeka turned to her, rubbing his face. What do you mean? She clenched her fists. I don't know, but I can feel it. My baby, he's not dead. His face darkened. Don't say that. I will say it. Because I know. She turned to him fully. Tell me the truth, Emeka. Did you actually see our baby dead? He hesitated. Her stomach twisted. Did you? His shoulders sagged. No. Mama took care of everything. The words sent a chill down Amaka's spine. That was it. She couldn't sit back and ignore this feeling anymore. The next morning, Amaka made her way to the hospital, her pulse quickening with every step. She had to see the records for herself. At the reception desk, a nurse looked up from a pile of files. Good morning, madam. How can I help you? Amaka forced a smile. I just wanted to check some records. My baby, he passed away here, and I need to confirm a few things for closure. The nurse gave her a sympathetic look. I understand. What's the name? We hadn't given him a name yet, Amaka admitted. He was born on the. She quickly recited the date. The nurse typed into the computer. A frown appeared on her face. That's strange, she murmured. Amaka's heart pounded. What? The nurse hesitated. According to our system, there's no record of a baby dying on that day in your name. A chill ran down Amaka's spine. That's not possible. There has to be a mistake. The nurse double-checked. I'm sorry, ma'am, but your baby was recorded as healthy at birth. Amaka's breath caught in her throat. Healthy. Her baby had been alive. Who updated the records? She asked, her voice shaking. The nurse glanced around nervously. I can't say. Amaka leaned closer. Please, help me. Something is wrong. I just need to know the truth. The nurse bit her lip, glancing toward a closed door at the end of the hallway. There's someone who might know more, she whispered. Follow me. In a secluded corner of the hospital, Amaka sat across from a young nurse who looked visibly shaken. I shouldn't be telling you this, the nurse whispered, her hands trembling. But I can't live with the guilt anymore. Amaka's pulse throbbed in her ears. Please, just tell me the truth. The nurse took a deep breath. Your baby, he didn't die. Amaka's vision blurred. What? He was perfectly healthy, the nurse continued. But someone ordered a switch. They replaced your baby with a dead one. Amaka felt like the room was spinning. Who did this? The nurse hesitated, then whispered, your mother-in-law. Amaka gasped, her hand flying to her chest. No, that can't be. The nurse's eyes filled with guilt. She gave the real baby to someone else. Amaka felt her throat tighten. Who? The nurse swallowed hard. Your husband's ex-girlfriend. Amaka's heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. Madame Agatha had stolen her child, and given him away. The revelation left Amaka paralyzed. She sat in the dimly lit hospital office, her hands trembling on her lap as the nurse's words echoed in her mind. Her child was alive, and Madame Agatha had stolen him. Her breath came in shallow gasps. Where is he now? She whispered. The nurse hesitated, glancing over her shoulder as if someone might be listening. I don't know exactly, she admitted. But I heard that your mother-in-law gave him to a woman named Vivian. Amaka's stomach dropped. Vivian. Ameka's ex-girlfriend. She had always been a shadow in their marriage, lingering in the background. Madame Agatha had never hidden her preference for her. But to go this far. She clenched her fists. I need proof. The nurse bit her lip. I kept something, she admitted in a hushed tone. A copy of the original birth report. It states that your baby was healthy and alive before he was taken. Amaka's heart pounded as the nurse reached into her drawer and pulled out a worn folder. She flipped it open, revealing a document with her name, the birth date, and a chilling note at the bottom. Infant discharged into the custody of Vivian Obi. Tears burned Amaka's eyes. She had been robbed of her child, deceived, and left to grieve while another woman raised him. She took a deep breath, her body shaking. I need to see my baby. The nurse hesitated. Be careful, madam. These people, they have power. Amaka straightened her shoulders. So do I. A mother's power. Amaka sat in her bedroom, clutching the birth record. Across from her, Emeka rubbed his temples. This doesn't make sense, he muttered, shaking his head. It makes perfect sense, Amaka snapped. Your mother never wanted me as your wife. She stole my child and gave him to Vivian. Emeka flinched. No, Mama wouldn't. She would. Amaka cut in sharply. And she did. Emeka was breathing hard now, gripping his knees. I can't believe this. Amaka stood, her hands trembling. I'm going to get my child back. Emeka shot to his feet. Wait. You can't just accuse Mama without proof. She threw the document at him. Read it, Emeka. That's the proof. His eyes scanned the paper, and his face drained of color. He staggered backward, collapsing onto the bed. My God. Amaka swallowed her pain. I'm going to Vivian's house. Emeka looked up at her, conflicted. Let me come with you. She stared at him, her chest tightening. Are you on my side or your mother's? His jaw clenched. I'm on the side of the truth. She nodded. Then let's go. Vivian's house was a luxurious mansion on the other side of town. The gates stood tall, guarded by two men. Amaka's rage burned inside her as she pounded on the door. Vivian, come out. A few minutes later, the door swung open, revealing a woman dressed in silk pajamas, her hair perfectly styled. Vivian's expression shifted from irritation to shock when she saw Amaka. What are you doing here? She asked coldly. Amaka's eyes darted to the baby in Vivian's arms. He was beautiful, with soft brown curls and wide, innocent eyes. Her son. Tears threatened to spill, but she held them back. Give me my child. Vivian stiffened. Excuse me. Emeka stepped forward. Vivian, we know the truth. He held up the birth record. We know everything. Vivian's face paled, but she forced a smirk. I don't know what you're talking about. Stop lying. Amaka's voice broke. I know he's mine. I carried him for 9 months. I felt his kicks. I heard his cries. I will never forget my own child. The baby whimpered in Vivian's arms, sensing the tension. Amaka's heart ached. Vivian held him closer. He's mine now. Amaka's fingers curled into fists. You stole him. Vivian's eyes darkened. Madame Agatha gave him to me. She said it was for the best. The best for who? Amaka demanded. Certainly not for me. Not for him. Vivian's lips trembled, and for the first time, uncertainty flickered in her eyes. Emeka's voice was firm. Vivian, if you ever cared about me, you'll do the right thing. Tears welled in Vivian's eyes. I wanted a child so badly. Amaka took a deep breath. Then have your own, but not mine. For a long moment, silence stretched between them. Then, slowly, Vivian looked down at the baby in her arms. His tiny fingers reached out, grasping at nothing. With a broken sob, she stepped forward. Amaka gasped as Vivian placed the baby in her arms. A warmth unlike anything she had ever known spread through her chest as she held him close, feeling the soft rise and fall of his tiny body. Her baby. Her son. Tears spilled down her face as she pressed a kiss to his forehead. Mama is here, she whispered. Vivian turned away, her shoulders shaking. Emeka let out a breath of relief. Then, a cold voice interrupted the moment. I see you've found what you were looking for. Madame Agatha stood at the gate, her face unreadable. Amaka's grip on her baby tightened. How could you do this? She whispered. Madame Agatha tilted her chin. I did what was best for this family. You mean what was best for you? Emeka said darkly. Madame Agatha's eyes flickered with something unreadable. It doesn't matter anymore. You have your child now. Be grateful. Amaka shook her head. You don't get to decide who is worthy of being a mother. You don't get to play God. For the first time, Madame Agatha looked away, her lips pressing together. But Amaka didn't care. She turned back to her son, her heart overflowing. She had fought for him. And she had won. As she walked away, cradling her baby, she whispered, no one will ever take you away from me again. She couldn't trust her husband and his mother anymore. She took her baby and her loads and ran away into the night, never to be seen by his Emeka or his mother again. Moral of the story: be careful who you trust. Story by Truth Be Told.